Okay, so we just got done smashing the living crap out of our mix with a brick wall limiter, and it started to complain, or break down, I guess, or whatever. And one way of looking at this particular loudness stuff is, let's just say everything else is fine, and it's our limiter's fault. Our limiters have the responsibility of making our mix sound awesome and loud. Well, the truth is, it mostly just does the loud part, and the awesome is up to you. Now, what I like to do, I guess, one particular perspective, and I think it's a good way to teach this, is go ahead and crank our levels up to what we're looking for with the brick wall limiter, and then find ways to make it easier on it. In fact, I'm going to push it into distortion just for my own amusement, and I think that'll help you guys hear stuff better. So let's go here. All right, I'm going to go and get this thing at -4, which we already noticed no rock stuff I had in my the first video there. Pro stuff got near that loud. We were more like -6 to -6.5 almost the entire time. Either way, I've decided I'm going to go louder just to make it easier for you to hear. All right, and so the first tool I want to show you for making what I'm going to call making life easier for the brick wall limiter. One of the first things I like to do is use a multiband compressor. And multiband compressor, I have a couple that I like, and there's two that really stand out to me that I've used. And I mean, I haven't really used them all. You might have one you like. But the Precision Multiband does really well. That's a UAD plugin. I find that to be a phenomenal little guy right here. And I've got a little preset that I've put together that I kind of go to every time. And I think two-bus processing is the kind of thing where presets do hold up. Because what I'm trying to do here, my other tracks are varying so much, but I'm trying to kind of have a standard that always works for me. And a multiband is really cool because you set this line, it says right here, this threshold's -20, and we have a ratio at 1.2, so it's really gentle. Doesn't kick in for 33 milliseconds, 100 millisecond release, so it's really a clean, subtle thing that it would take a ridiculous amount of low-end stuff to really excite this thing to the point that it was really doing anything significant to a mix. And that's the point with this. It's a very gentle thing. Like all my ratios, I think are 1 to 1.2, or is it 1.2 to 1? Yeah, whatever. Anyway, so it's none of these are going to be doing much. And let me go ahead and show you what's going on with that just a little bit. The idea here is that anything that's excessive or anything I just don't like, the multiband should just catch that stuff. And we're just nudging it. Anyway, here we go. Now, what's fun about this, and I knew my vocals had that 1K heavy sound. Some of that's kind of a distress or distortion thing, which I kind of like. But some of it, whenever we start pushing a limiter, that sound can get really crappy in a hurry. It's between 1 to 1.5K, something like that. But, you might have seen this bus right here just wiggling a little bit. And that guy wiggles whenever he's reducing. So, and we're talking maybe a decibel there. But that's the kind of thing that's going to reduce our distortion on that level tremendously. Or on the limiter, especially when it's pushed this hard. So let's check that out one more time, but before and after. Okay, it's on O. We just knocked it down like a decibel. Now let's go ahead and turn the limiter off. Okay, listen to O. No doubt about it, they're static. That wah, you can hear that, but a bad, crappy version of it. So already our brick wall our two-bus compressor has tamed some of that bad stuff before it even got here. And we could have totally solved this by playing with the tracks themselves. But at this stage in the game, it's okay, it's good to have just some catches because it can be a lot of work, I guess. And that may be a bad example to set, but either way, just having this guy catching a few little things is a real practical way to deal with subtle problems. And again, I'm only knocking off a decibel. If we were knocking off 8 decibels, then we'd have a huge issue to deal with. Okay, I would push this multiband a little bit harder. I want to see it complain in a few other spots, and I want to hear what happens when it does start to complain. And this is a way, these multiband compressors can get you tremendous amounts of level. I mean, tremendous. And we've got an input level and an output level here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to turn down the output level to like -2. And you're asking, well, I thought we were trying to get loud. Why would we want to turn it down? Well, the reason for that is because I'm going to boost it too. And so what is that going to do? Well, it's going to increase the likelihood that other little bad guys get caught. And also our other bad guy will probably get caught a little bit worse, technically 2 decibels worse, if he is a problem all the time. So let's take a listen to this one and see what it does. And we're going to probably see some more wiggling. Let's see. All right, well, I'm going to go further with it. Let's just go 4. You know what? 5. We're insane. And -5 over here. Man, I got to turn those sounds off. I don't know where those came from. Well, this mix just doesn't seem to need a whole lot of multiband compression, other than that that vocal needs to be tamed quite a bit. I did see some wiggle down here. It was probably a snare drum or something. So I guess this is not a good example, but for the sake of illustration, well, I don't want to let you kids to go home empty-handed. Let's just cram 10 extra decibels into it. Let's see what that does. Okay, you can tell we got a lot smoother of a sound. Catching those peaks was probably healthy, but we've done it at considerable expense. I mean, that's not a good thing to do, but you can get a feel for what the multiband compressor is doing, and that's catching bad stuff. And in this case, we've kind of made some good stuff, bad stuff, and then we've got a mess. But let me go ahead and show you Sonoformer, which is my other favorite tool, and I just got this recently. I really like it, but it's kind of a different way of approaching multiband compression. And because it has 32, or I always forget the number of bands. Let's just say 20. It's got 20 bands, give or take. And each one of those, we can draw our own thresholds, ratios, limiters, whatever. I highly recommend you try this tool out because I think it's incredible. Anyway, let's grab this mastering one. You can see here the threshold is, where'd you go? The threshold is at minus, I don't know, 15. Here at 20 hertz. But then we go down to the top end, 20K is more like minus 24. So the the threshold, it gets a little bit strict, more strict with the top end. It says top end, I don't know about you. So we're gonna hold you to a higher standard, like it's the oldest kid or something like that. Okay, and the ratio is the same, 1.3. So it's pretty subtle here too. And same thing with the tack. And the tack's actually a little bit slower with low end, which makes sense. You want the initial pump to jump out, and maybe not so much high end stuff. So anyway, let's see what this does. We'll have to play with the input level quite a bit. And that's the one damn thing I don't like about this thing. The only thing that doesn't blow my mind about it is I don't know how to turn input down. Although I see this little button. I wish I could do it with that. So anyway, the input gain might be much, and I got the Cambridge taking care of that. So we'll use this as an input gain for this guy. All right, wanted to see, we're distorting, but we're at -3 or so no wonder. The way Sonoformer works is you can see where the reduction is by the individual bands kind of yanking down. I noticed that some of our vocal issues are at 700 hertz or so. So let's pay attention to these little guys to see what frequencies are jumping out. And you can see we got some 232, a little bit of that chunk on that snare is getting touched there. A little bit I don't mind. Now with Sonoformer, we could easily back either the threshold or the ratio off, so we're not hitting that so hard. But we're pretty subtle here, and I think we're okay. But anyway, the point is this particular tool, the multiband compressor, can and will make life easier for the limiter when the limiter is under a whole lot of, a lot of stress, I guess.